The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
Welcome, everyone, to the Best You EXPO Miami. We have our next guest that is ready to go. Are you going to bring her up, Tony?
Sure. I know you're on the list of introducing her, but I can totally introduce her.
No, I can introduce her, but somebody needs to get her up.
We know Barbie. Barbie's an old friend, so we love her deal. Let's get her in here. Hey, Barbie, how are you? I love that red backdrop.
Hi, how are you?
We're good. We're good. How are you been since yesterday?
Amazing. Yesterday was so much fun.
Yeah, still having fun. So Crystal gets the pleasure of introducing you with your wonderful bio. And then I just want to remind you that we are going to jump in, not to be rude, at about 5 minutes to the hour. And just so you know, no matter where you are in your speech, we're coming in. So give you a heads up. So I'm gonna let you two play nice, and I will see you guys towards the end of your share.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Well, it's really great seeing you again today, and with another amazing outfit. I love the color purple, so you look very nice. So I just want to read a little bit of your bio, and then I'll just turn it over to you. Your topic says, if 2020 didn't break you, how can 2021 make you? Awesome. So this says, after 2 decades of successfully working a traditional job in the United States and South Korea, Barbie did the soul searching many of us are currently doing during this unprecedented pandemic. She received an MA from the world famous University of Santa Monica in spiritual psychology in 2006 with professors Ron and Mark, and participated in their film. Basically, is a film festival and winning a documentary award as a counselor to women serving life sentences in how do you say that? Chowchilla?
Chowchilla.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So you're a humanitarian, you're a counselor, you do a lot of things. And so is there anything particular you want to highlight there?
Just the fact that I think that right now everybody's really thinking about how they can pivot. So looking at 2020 as being something that, it's in some ways just kind of leaving the dust behind, but just all of the kind of strategies that will help you to be able to get into 2021 that will set you up for success.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, we can't wait to hear all about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go off screen, and welcome to the Best You EXPO Miami.
Awesome. Thank you, Crystal. All right. So hello, Best You Miami 2021. We finally made it. Oh my God, it's so exciting. So first of all, I just want to say welcome to all my Christian Marie Sheldon people, all my Visions Premium coaching people, all my Mind Valley people, friends, family, all the people that have supported me along this journey. I'm totally excited to be here. As you guys know, 2020 was just such an intense year for so many people, filled with a lot of tragedy for a lot of people. But by the same token, there were a lot of people that ended up thriving. I know there's kind of a joke in the premium coaching group with me in the sense of where they make the joke that I don't sleep because I've been multitasking and really taking massive action in 2020 to be able to get myself into a space of where, it's all the building that happened in 2020 to be able to get into the exciting place of being in 2021 and actually feeling that you have resonated with this frequency and that you finally arrived. So welcome for all the people that have tuned in. I'm so excited for you to be here. Last time I read you my favorite quote, but it's still my favorite quote, so I'm still going to read it. So it's from Marianne Williamson, and this is one of those things to encourage you to be able to be the very best that you can be. So our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. So that's something that in the last year, I really tried to surround myself with people who also kind of get the big picture. We can all hang out with all of our people that want to talk about the trauma and the politics and the negativity and all those other type of things, et cetera. But ultimately, it's just spinning your wheels over and over and over and over again, and you're not really getting anywhere. And they do say that you are oftentimes the sum total of the 5 people that are closest to you. So if you look around the frequency of the people that you're hanging out with, are they bitching and complaining, or are they looking for possibilities? Those are like 2 really, really key things that you should be keeping in mind. So before we start, I'm going to set my timer for 35 minutes so that I don't go over. But before we start, since I am an intuitive life coach, and that's one of the things that I love is dabbling in the energetic field, we're going to do a clearing first with 26,000 hertz. We're just going to go ahead and any negativity that is in here of anyone that is in this collective field holographically that is tuned in, just going to go ahead and clear that in the space in this moment so that we can add clear energy into the space. And then I'm going to take this beautiful Pleiadian sound healing instrument, and I'm going to ping it to be able to also call in beautiful energy to the session. Not sure if that resonates with the volume, if you can hear that. Calling in the light, calling in any beings that wish to be of assistance here to help to clearing, to be able to step into this new energy that will be 2021. Okay, and then I also would like to sing a tone that I've been singing for probably the last 30 years. If you check out the Best You magazine in December, I was just published in that episode or that issue last month. And there's actually an article that I wrote called The Sound Billionaires Listen to in the Morning. So it is actually 528 hertz. It's the sound of creation, and it is the sound of hue. It is a sound that basically allows it's like the Schumann frequencies of the earth, of where it allows the little seed to be able to become a flower. It's something of where it really allows just for miracles to manifest. When I was at USM, it was something that we all held hands, the 276 of us, we all put our hands together, we closed our eyes, and we sang the hue 3 times to be able to allow any positive frequencies to be able to come forward so that there could be a healing that would happen in the moment when we did our different sessions. So I'm going to sing that for you 3 times. Just let those sounds and frequencies wash over your body, over your chakras, your meridians, your energy body. And then I'm going to go ahead and call in the light. So this is something from my mentor, Christy Marie Sheldon, from last year, taking her courses. Intuition 101 is a life makeover. I would recommend it to anybody. And so what you do is you basically make sure that your feet are solid on the ground. Put your hands on your thighs. Close your eyes. And imagine from your crown chakra above your head that you connect up to source energy 300 feet up above you, almost like you're connecting up into the sky, plugging yourself in, allowing that beautiful white light source energy to be able to connect to you, allowing that light to swirl down, come down through your crown chakra, bringing that down through your head, allowing that beautiful drizzle of soft white source energy light to come through your eyes, allowing you to see the things that you don't want to see. This is a cleansing of light coming through, allowing it to come through your ears to the things that you don't want to hear, allowing that beautiful white crystalline gel-like light to come down through your nose to allow you to smell things that you don't want to smell, coming down through your mouth, allowing you to speak things that you haven't been able to speak, allowing that to fill in your throat chakra and every nook and cranny, back and forth, up and down, allowing any negative energy to be dispelled, coming down into your shoulders, allowing that beautiful white light energy to just keep creeping down as if you're watching honey drip down off of the side of a bowl, coming down into your arms, coming down into your fingers, now coming back into your torso, coming down into your heart center, allowing that beautiful white light energy to swirl around in your heart center of anything there that is distraught or negative, pushing down into your solar plexus, into the third chakra, allowing that to spin and allowing that beautiful white light energy to be able to be into your solar plexus, pushing down into your sacral, allowing it to swirl around in that beautiful area, coming down into your root chakra, allowing this beautiful energy of light to be able to come down through your thighs, dripping down into your knees, going down into your shins, and then pushing down through your feet and pushing that beautiful energy all the way down into the center of the planet where Mother's love is, that magma of hot center of just warmth and Gaia love. Allow yourself to anchor yourself in that space. Push your roots in, drop an anchor, plant a star with your name on it, whatever you feel makes you most comfortable. And then once you've filled yourself up with that beautiful love, push that energy back up, coming all the way back up like an elevator, all the way up through your root, coming back up through your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart center, your throat chakra, your third eye, your crown chakra, and going out up above your head. And now from your solar plexus, you're allowing yourself to expand as much as you can, expanding your light energy out from your radius of your own body, expanding it out to your humble abode, expanding it out to the state or the province that you live in, expanding it out to the country you live in, expanding it out to the planet that you live in, and then allowing it to swirl all the way around the planets and just sending that beautiful, pure source energy all the way around the galaxy.
It is said that we live in a world our questions create. And it's true. Those that have succeeded in life, those that stand out, those that have made a difference, those that are inventing, those that are exploring, pushing the boundaries of reality are based on those that have asked themselves empowering questions. In my new book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, I help you find your true purpose, find your legacy. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing, speaking at any of our many events, partnering, or licensing The Best You, for more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
Just take a moment to feel how beautiful that feels, that sunshiny gold energy emanating from within your body. And if you can anchor this emotion or this feeling, this is the emotion, this is the frequency that will carry you. This will be the resonance that will carry you into 2021 in a positive way. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. So in the meantime, last time when I was with Crystal in October, I was telling her about how I love the variety show. And I started singing a song. But one little song, we were just talking about expanded energy and that ultimately you need to stay at that 528 frequency of love or above energy. You cannot manifest in low frequency energy. You can't manifest when I have to make, I have to do, I have a list, I have a laundry list, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. That is low level frequency. You cannot manifest anything with that level. But if you take it from the perspective of play and you gamify things and you allow them to be able to have the universe completely surprise you with all the wonderful things that it wants to gift you, that's when you step into a whole new paradigm. So part of that for me is singing. So public domain song that I absolutely love is This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So those type of things, just, think about it. In Snow White, what did we have? We had whistle while you work, right? Do. It's like when you take things that are boring and they're not fun, but again, you gamify them in the sense of where it's like, well, I have to do this, but how can I do it in a positive way? How can I make it more fun? Same thing with, you think about the story of Tom Sawyer. He got everybody who was whitewashing the fence to make it seem like it was so fun, and everybody was begging him to be able to do that. So those are the kind of things of where you can turn things into an enjoyable experience. They don't always have to be kind of like the doldrums of, the chore. All right. So in 2020, the 2 talks that I gave in Los Angeles and in Dallas, one thing that really resonated for a lot of people was the concept of extreme gratitude. So as you know, March 13th, 2020 was when a state of emergency was declared. If you think about it right now, we're on January 15th. We're literally 10 months into this. In 2 months, it will be literally a year that our entire world has been rocked by this pandemic, correct? So ultimately, we can sit and cry in our beer and we can have a pity party about all the horrible things that are happening. And I'm not saying that everything in my life was perfect either. But by the same token, it's also about the way you focus on things. So ultimately, when there were a lot of days of where the news was coming fast and furious and there was just nothing but negativity on a regular basis, just a heads up, I deleted or I turned off the notifications for news a week ago. I decided I can't have 3 devices that are constantly pinging, where it's adrenaline, cortisol, mayday, emergency. Your body cannot live like that. You cannot deal in being in a state of high alert with 100 different things coming at you all the time. Our ancestors never, ever had all this bad news coming at them from a barrage. And it's not just one thing. It's like one particular outlet and then 5 different ones that all want to give you their spin on it, et cetera. Turn it off. Same thing, even like, a survival mechanism for 2021, even for work emails. I check it once a day. Once. That's it. I don't have it open because otherwise we have this Pavlovian response of like, we hear the ping, ding, 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 ding. And if you remember the Pavlovian dog experiment with psychology, every time the dog got meat, basically, the bell would ring and the dog would get meat powder. Every time the bell would ring, the dog would get meat powder. It got to the point of where the bell would ring and the dog didn't have meat powder anymore, but he would still salivate because he thought he was getting meat powder. So we can become very, very conditioned to those kind of things. Well, we can also be conditioned to peaceful and high vibrational frequency. So again, we're going to talk about some strategies to being able to go forward in 2021 to be able to manifest this for you. Okay, so extreme gratitude. Something lots of people told me, this was like a saving grace for me, etc. So in the moment right now, if you're watching me, you have a device, you have internet, right? And whether or not your internet is good or not is, arbitrary. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you have internet. So right now we have the opportunity that via StreamYard and or Zoom, etc., or Maestro and other things, I have the capacity to be in your living room right now, and I don't know where you are. You could be in Croatia, Estonia, Australia, India. You could be on the moon. I don't even know whether or not they have internet, on the space station, but who knows? We could be on the moon. You have no idea. So extreme gratitude. When you hear all these negative things that are happening, and it's like you have all this like mental chatter, and it's like la 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 la. We hear it a lot, right? There's lots and lots of things. One of the most important things is to go back to extreme gratitude. And what do I mean by extreme gratitude? I mean, I am so grateful that I have a water company that is taking care of the water and sending it through my pipes. I am so grateful I have an electricity company that is literally keeping the lights on in my home. I am so grateful that we have gasoline companies that are still bringing gasoline and or electricity, depending on what kind of a car you have, so that I can travel to and fro where I need to go to. I am so grateful that I have indoor plumbing. I am so grateful that I have heating. I am so grateful that I have a washing machine that washes my dishes. I am so grateful that I have a washer and dryer that wash my clothes. I'm so grateful that I have a stove that cooks my food. I'm so grateful that I have a microwave. I'm so grateful that I have a refrigerator that keeps my food chilled. I am so grateful. Do you see how that can go on and on and on and on? I mean, I could literally keep going for another like 15, 20. Thank you for a bed. Thank you for safety. Thank you for, air conditioning. Thank you for internet. Thank you for everything. It's like you can just, it's like what they call habit stacking. You just stack. And by the time you get to 15, 20, 30, that's not even people yet. Then there's people to thank. And there's other things, of like, people's children, and then their animals, and then their extended friends, and their family, their church members. There's so many things. So when you get to a point of where you have literally said thank you for 20 to 30 things, your whole vibration shifts. I don't know. I don't have chat available to me, so I don't know what you guys are thinking about this, but it's literally, it totally changes your vibe, because that's the only thing that you can choose. You can choose your frequency. I know that's one of those things of where that is one of the few things that you have like control over. When I was doing the documentary for the Chowchilla State Prison, it's like, that was based on Viktor Frankl's work, the book Man's Search for Meaning. And the whole thing about that was that people were dying in Holocaust, concentration camps. And he was trying to see what is the difference between the people that perished and the people that lived. And the number one thing was that the people who didn't perish, they had hope. They had a mindset. So that's going to be my next thing that we're going to segue into. But before we do that, I just want to tell you one thing of paying it back. So with all the essential workers and the people that are working in the grocery stores and the people that are working in the hospitals and the people that are working as nurses and the people that are trucking and the people that are growing our food and the people that are doing all those different amazing things to be able to keep the supply chain going so that we have what we need. There's a Native American tradition that there are 300 pairs of hands that brought whatever is in front of you. So the person that, watered it, bought the seeds, grew it, trucked it, packaged it, promoted it, marketed it, took it to the market, sold it, et cetera, et cetera. 300 hands until it gets to your door. So one of the things I love to cook, I'm an amazing cook, and people always ask me what my secret ingredients is. And I always tell people that it's TLC, because I always bless the food that I make. So if I have a beautiful, a keto, beautiful egg casserole with beautiful vegetables and organic butter and delicious, like organic eggs, I'm just like so grateful and saying, I am sending all the energy back and thinking the 300 hands are able to bring this beautiful food to my home that I could then make it so that I could nourish myself and anybody else that eats it. And by blessing it and putting that energy into it, not only do people say that it tastes better, but it's also sending all that energy back in the time continuum to bless all those people that helped you out. Because those people were all doing it for whatever their reasons were, and most of them were for love of their family. So those are the kind of things of where that is all part of the extreme gratitude. And it really does uplift your vibe, because you're able to feel like, even if you feel powerless to do a whole lot, that's still something that you have control over. So I came up kind of with a little saying a couple months ago, which is that you have to face it, you have to embrace it, but then you have to replace it. So that's the kind of stuff of where a lot of people like to do. It's called spiritual bypass, of where, they want to just pretend like, kumbaya, they're going to do yoga, they're going to do some meditations, some affirmations, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. The bottom line is that you cannot wish it away. You have to go through the emotions. You shouldn't be afraid of anger. Anger is sometimes a justifiable thing that you need to have it bubble up into your system to be able to release it out. But if it's just stuck in there and you're just constantly, the anger is there and the anger is there and the anger is there, that's when it basically erupts, et cetera. And it's better to just allow those anger bubbles to pop out in the moment and then say, you know what? Yeah, I was in a bad mood today, but now I'm choosing to be in a better mood, et cetera. I released it out of my body and I'm moving on, as opposed to having this Mount Vesuvius of a volcanic eruption where people are looking at you like, what happened? It's kind of like the ubiquitous thing of the joke about, the man and woman ended up getting a divorce because he didn't put the tube on the cap on the toothpaste properly. And it wasn't the toothpaste. It was the 50 other things that they never talked about in the past. Right. So it's like, it's the kind of things that where a lot of times things are accumulation. And if you handle things in the moment, you face it, you embrace it, and then you replace it. Those are things that are also going to be tactics to be able to help you in your evolving in the next year. So 2021, we're in it. 2 weeks into it. This is the age of Aquarius, you guys. Amazing. So much good stuff happening. December 21st was a portal that opened, or December 22nd, I believe. And then January 21st is this portal of wave of all this good stuff that you're creating right now. So you still have 6 more days to be able to put all the, pour all this good stuff into your little recipe of what your age of Aquarius is going to look like. So number 1, mindset. So mindset is one of the most important things. Vishen Lakhiani with Mind Valley is talking about the fact that right now he has posited a challenge to Harvard. Then the next 5 years, an MBA or a business type of a degree from Harvard is going to be completely obsolete, because a lot of the people now in Google and a lot of the Silicon Valley and other tech kind of companies, they don't care if you have a college degree. Google now has a certification of where you can go to Coursera, take a 6-month course for $300, and Google will literally find you jobs to be able to put you into the tech sector with high skill, like jobs that are in demand. So having that 4-year degree of where you spend $250,000 to go rock climbing and hang out at a fraternity and things like that. If you want the social aspect, of course, that's important. And I mean, if you want to be a specified, a doctor or a lawyer and things like that, obviously that's a little bit different. But as far as a general business manifest, I think, that he's going to win that bet. And he was stating that Google has stated that in their research that the mindset of somebody who applies to Harvard, that person is going to be, and got rejected, that person is going to be as successful as the person who went to Harvard, because it's about their mindset. So your mindset is always important. So like, for example, resilience is a mindset. That song, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to get me down. It's that kind of stuff where, okay, you get kicked down, but then you get back up. You dust yourself off. Okay, you get kicked down again. You dust yourself off, etc. Hopefully you'll learn your lesson to the point of where you don't need to get kicked anymore, right? But that's ultimately the mindset. So I came up with a silly little song based on kind of the What Would It Take from Christy Marie. So this is kind of thing of where, I'm a dork running around just kind of singing like little ditties to myself just to keep the vibe flowing. But what would it take for me to be awesome? What would it take for me to be good? What would it take for me to be powerful? What would it take to be safe, right, and good? And then I have 3 more verses on that too. But it's like, it's putting yourself in the mindset of what would it take? What would it take? What would it take for me to step into this other different paradigm shift and not get stuck in all of this like, bleh. Because who wants to get stuck in that stuff? Like, that's not fun. I don't want to be stuck in the 2020 energy of where everybody feels like, scorched earth and their like hair is on fire all the time. I want to focus in the point of where can you thrive? So after mindset, I want to focus on focus. The word focus to me is so, so important. So again, like people in my premium coaching tease me that I never sleep, because it's like, I seem to know about all the events. I've pretty much done more than 40 quests on Mind Valley, Omvana, Solvana. I pretty much, people ask me, do you know? Yep. I'll give you this. I'll give you that. But the good news is that being one of those, like, kind of know-it-alls, it also means I can share my knowledge with other people, and they come and ask me, and it's like, I'm more than willing to share. So it's all good. It's that whole reciprocity thing. But here's a little story about focus. So last year in my workspace, I had this tulip bulb thing, and it has stones at the bottom. And I have this beautiful, it's a gem pod water. So in here is a diamond, and it basically you take distilled water and it programs it into the gemstone on the basis of like Dr. Masaru Emoto's work of the science of water, that you can imprint, hate, love, and the frequency of the holographic, almost snowflake of the water molecule completely changes. So this particular water is really beautiful because it's programmed into the diamond energy. It goes through a transformation with jade that I put through it too. And so I just said to myself, and I just bought these gem pods. So I said, I'm going to take this plant that I have, and I'm going to start watering it with the gem pod water and see if there's anything to happen. So it had been dead for 9 months, and all of a sudden this little tiny little green shoot came out. And I was like, oh, okay. So I put it in the center of the room, and I saw this little tiny shoot. I started putting a little bit of gem water in it every single day. And I said, I love you, little plant. You're so beautiful. I hope that you grow. And then I told every single person that came in to do the same thing. Well, in 2 weeks, that plant had grown 36 inches. I had to put a stick, 3 ribbons. I would come in the next day and the thing would be almost on its side because it had grown so fast.
To find out about my latest projects, get a free coaching lesson, or download my book, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. And it reminded me of a story of the children in Theresienstadt during the Holocaust. And those little children, they were doing art therapy, and they had a little tree. They only got a little cup of water every single day. But each one of those kids, they brought a little tiny bit of their little drops of those water. And they literally, they put the drops of water into the tree to be able to allow it to grow. And that tree continued to grow and continued to grow and continued to grow, because even though there was all this horrible stuff happening, it was where their focus was. They were loving on this plant. They were giving all this beautiful energy to this gorgeous tree. And I happened to be, have the honor of being at Chapman University when the grandson of that person who was in Theresienstadt ended up they actually chopped off a piece of that particular tree, and they cut off a little piece of it, and then they dedicated to their grandfather, and they had this beautiful bronze statue that they had made of, the hands of the grandfather and the grandchild that are, were linked together, and they planted it in California. So it's like, those are the kind of things of where something like that can become almost age eternal, because these beautiful trees have the opportunity to be able to expand in such a beautiful way. So a lot of that, like I said, is really, really about your focus. And something I was talking to my friend about the other day too, is that, you ever notice that sometimes you're like, you go to a place and you see, like, there's a strip mall, right? And there's a grocery store, the dry cleaners, there's a this, there's a that, you've seen it always before. You've been going there forever. That place, et cetera, et cetera. But there's 12 different like stores there. And then all of a sudden somebody invites you and they say, oh, would you like to go to the restaurant? Blah, blah, blah. Here's the directions. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you arrive at the strip mall or the place, and the restaurant is smack dab in the entire place where oh, I go to this store. Oh, I go to this dry cleaner. Oh, I go to this bakery. I go to this. But you've never seen the store before, or you've never seen the restaurant before because you never needed to. It's not until you needed to see the restaurant because you got invited to go there that you needed to see the restaurant. Does it make sense? So it's kind of funny that a lot of the things, it's like in reality, in 3D reality, a lot of things are actually almost kind of like optical illusions, because a lot of things we don't see until we need to see them, or things that we're just kind of like going along, going like, okay, I'll focus on the grocery store, dry cleaners, bakery, but restaurant over here, oh my God, I come here all the time. So again, that is focusing on that is your focus. So that's the kind of thing too. And unfortunately in our society, and I'm going to use this just as an iPad, et cetera, in our society, we have a lot of people walking around like this. So if you're completely buried in your cell phone and your device 24/7, and you have earbuds or headphones on over you, et cetera, I don't know about you, but even pre-pandemic, it was really annoying to go to Starbucks and have everybody just sitting in Starbucks together, but nobody was talking. Like, it was literally like in your own little world sitting next to people, but you're not communicating. I just like that's things that make me go, because I don't want to go hang out with people that are going to ignore each other. That just doesn't sound like fun to me, period. If that sounds like fun to other people, cool, but not to me. Okay, so moving on to the next thing I want to talk about, because I only have about 8 minutes left. So, access. So, my friend Bethany and I, we always talk about, like, what would it take to have VIP access to everything? Woo! What would it take to have VIP access to the world and just have all these doors we've never been seen open to us, etc.? Guess what? There's a lot of doors. And there's a lot of doors that you don't see because you're not looking, or they're not ready to open for you, et cetera, et cetera. So, case in point. So my mom and I have traveled around the world, and she ended up getting a black Amex card. So with the black Amex card, or platinum, black, I'm not sure. I don't have one of those, so I don't know the difference. But she ended up getting one of the colored cards that basically allow you certain access. So what would happen is that we would go to the VIP lounges in the different airports around the world. And sometimes it was annoying because, like, the international terminal would be here and the lounge would be over in the other thing, and you'd have to go through customs, and it wasn't worth it. So you're just like, no big deal. But what was so amazing about this, so like if you go to Los Angeles International Airport, at the Tom Brady terminal, there is a beautiful VIP lounge, and you don't have any signs. You don't have any notification of any kind. You have to have the app. It has to tell you where to go. You have to know that it's in this terminal. You walk down this thing. You go down this corner, to the right, to the left, over here. And then there's this unmarked elevator that you don't know about. Opens up. Poof, you go up the elevator. And the next thing you know, you're in like a clubhouse heaven. There's showers and places to take a nap. There's like reclining chairs. There's a bar. There's food, like good food, like, you have all different kinds of like cheeses and yogurts and fruit and vegetables and crudités and so on and so forth. You have the most current newspapers. You have beautiful Wi-Fi. You have flat screen TVs. You have a view of the terminal. You have all this kind of like cool stuff. But then you look over and you're literally behind smoked glass. And when you look down, there's thousands of people in the regular, gate, which is basically where I've always been all my life. And it doesn't make you better or worse than anybody else, because I don't ever think that's a distinction people should make. There's no better or worse. It's just your experience. But what that really taught me is the fact that a lot of this stuff is about access. If I don't know that this is a place that I can go to and it even exists, it's not even in my consciousness, not even in my idea of something that even exists. But once you know that they exist, it changes everything, the paradigm shift. One of my friends was talking about the fact that Costco has a $21,000 yearly private jet pass. Not something that was within, my frame of reference. Also, I know that my mom won this cool weekend to go to the Biltmore Hotel in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a very famous hotel that has all the presidents that played golf there, et cetera, et cetera. And she won a beautiful 3-day weekend with the concierge level room access. So the concierge room access is literally a swiping card, a nondescript room, has nothing. It looks like it's a broom closet. You literally swipe the thing. It's not listed or labeled at all. And then you open up the door and it's this gorgeous place that's 24-hour food, drink, lounge, billiards, flat screen TVs, stretch out on their couches, et cetera, et cetera. They have a back place where they have barbecues and so on and so forth. Again, it's really about access, because you don't know that exists unless you get access to it. So I think what I'm trying to put forward in the sense of where it's like, how can you put forward for yourself? I talk about manifestation with a lot of my clients. So how can you manifest things of doors that you don't even know that could possibly open for you? Doors that are not even something. At Disneyland, they have the 33 Club, which is over by Sleeping Beauty's castle. I've never seen it. I've never been invited there to go to, but the people that are members, they know exactly where that is. Back in the 1920s, they used to have speakeasies, right? And they would have nondescript doors of where you would go. And then you would basically, rap on the door and you'd have the passcode. And the next thing you know, you got invited to this special place. So again, doesn't make you better or worse than that. Again, it's only your experience. So I want to be really, really clear about that. But it's still, how can you open yourself up to different access of what you have had access to before? If you open yourself up to new things that you have never been accessible to before, your whole entire world changes. It's like a paradigm shift. All of a sudden, it's like your world really gets bigger. It just has an opportunity. And that's something of where I'm going to be co-hosting a class on synchronicity of signs with Christopher Lemke in the next couple of months. It's something that we really want to look at in regards to the way that your whole entire world, you have so many things that are speaking to you and talking to you, but are you paying attention? That's the most important thing. If you're not paying attention and you're just on your device and you're just locked and watching, whatever's going on the feed, et cetera, that's the kind of stuff where you're not going to be paying attention and it's not going to come to you. And most of the stuff is coming on a device, just to let you know. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk to you about is presence. So your presence is one of the most important things that you can give to a person. It really is. And I was talking yesterday when I was on the red carpet virtual event with Tony and Crystal. I was talking about the fact that one of the things I wrote about in my article for the Best You magazine was the fact that a homeschool kindergartner gets the same box on Zoom that Brad Pitt gets or Justin Trudeau. We all get the same box on Zoom, right? Zoom is like the great equalizer. There's nothing else that you can get other than the fact that everyone gets the same box. So right now I'm on a phone. So right now I look really small. If you're on a big screen, I look a lot bigger. If you're on a computer, it just depends basically on whatever your vantage point is and how you're looking at it. But a lot of this, again, is about your presence. So if you always know that everybody that you're dealing with is soul, they're a divine being having a human experience, despite whether or not they're annoying or they're this or they're that, etc. You give your undivided attention to every single person that you are in front of. And that is one of the most important things. When you're completely and truly present with somebody and you're completely mindful of how present you are with them, that is a gift that you are giving to that other person. I don't know about you, but I don't like talking to people who are distracted, who are on their phones. I don't like talking to people who aren't paying attention. You can tell. Yeah. And then you get off the phone and it's like, oh, great. They weren't paying attention to me. It's like, that's the kind of stuff of where we need to know that we're seen and we're heard. Those are two, like when I've been doing international like client sessions, to be seen, heard, loved, and accepted. Those are the 4 main things that people need. Doesn't matter what religion, what culture, seen, heard, loved, and accepted based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you don't have those things, you don't feel like your life is worth a lot. So being present with every single human being is one of the most important things that you can be. And I'm going to leave you, before I tell you about a couple of things, I'm going to leave you with the starfish story. It's one of my favorites. That there is a man that's walking down the beach, and he sees this young boy. There are thousands of beach starfish on the beach, and they're all going to probably die. And so the man comes up to the boy and he says, what are you doing? There's so many of them. You know that they're going to die. And the little boy looks at the man and he picks this one up as he's tossing it back in the ocean. He said, it matters to this one. So ultimately, when you're talking to people, it matters to them. When you're present with people, you give them the gift of your attention. And that is one of the most important things that you can give. Money is great, but by the same token, giving someone your time and your attention is one of the most sacred things that you can give. And with that, I know that they're going to be cutting me off in about a minute. I just want to tell you that in the last couple weeks, I've been featured on podcasts for the Alchemy Experience, alchemyexperience.co.uk. I was the guest of Christopher Lemke and also the guest of Carissa Sims, 2 parts for the podcast You Inspired. So those just dropped in the last week, and you can go ahead and check those out. I also have a beautiful website that Christopher designed that is called www.youareamazing.online, and exactly the way that it's spelled. You can go ahead and check my booth out here at the Best You EXPO, and I do have 3 amazing entrepreneurs that I'm going to be interviewing live in my Zoom in the next few hours. So if you'd like to check that out, I'm going to be interviewing Jen Bates, an amazing actress entrepreneur. I'm going to be interviewing Cara Rodas, an amazing conscious entrepreneur. And I'm going to be interviewing Melody Lee, a Vietnamese boat refugee who completely transformed her life to become a mentor for Bob Proctor in Australia. And the 3 of them have the most beautiful stories that I just want to share those with you. So I see it's 12:55 and perfect time. Woo!
You are good with this. You are definitely good with that. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Wow, such an emotional roller coaster I went on with you. You were singing, laughing. I felt your tears that almost came down with the starfish story. I love that story. I've heard that for years now, and it's such an amazing story. And just your delivery of true connection really meant something to me because it meant something to you. So thank you for sharing that.
And Barb, I have some more parts for your song. I was like into that. What would it take for me to be awesome? I was like, okay. I have another little verse for you, so we got to be in touch. That was I wanted to hear the rest of it, and you stopped.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the Best You Expo stage here in Miami. We're on the MMI stage, which is Masters, Mentors, and Influencers, which we definitely had one of those today with Barbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.